There's something interesting about this shot. I'm the only one in the room, so who's following me with the camera? All right, let's say you're out in a beautiful landscape like this and you want to walk around and talk, and you want to have the camera follow you while you're talking. There's only one problem though. You're by yourself. You don't have anybody to move the camera. Well, that's where this magical thing called trackers comes in. It tracks your movement. So today I'm going to review 5 different camera trackers that you just stick on a tripod, put the camera on top, and it follows you wherever you go. Let's start with this first one here. This is a really simple, basic one. It's called the Miops Capsule 360. It only costs $240. The unit itself actually doesn't do any tracking. You stick a cell phone on top, the cell phone tracks your face, and then Bluetooth signal from the cell phone goes to this unit and tells it to turn left or right and follow you. Now that's good. It works pretty good actually. The only problem is it has to see your face. So if I'm walking away, it probably isn't going to track me very much. That's the problem with face tracking trackers. Is there something that can track you where it doesn't have to see your face? So this is the first level of trackers. And notice that is ones where you have to have your face pointing at the camera at all times, and it has to be able to recognize a face to track you. And the other thing I don't like about these kind of things that use a cell phone for your tracking is I hate things where you have to download an app and then you have to wirelessly Bluetooth it to the unit, and you gotta I hate that. I like things where I just turn it on and it does it, and that's it. You don't have to do any. I hate cell phone apps. Anything that uses a cell phone app is it's just too much for me. Anyway, so this is the first one. See, it didn't fall. See what I mean? You have to see your face. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is also a cell phone based tracker, but it's a 3-axis gimbal tracker. This one only goes left and right. The next one goes left, right, up and down, which is even better. But for 240 bucks, come on. Hey. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, this is the DJI Ronin SC 3-axis gimbal. It also uses a cell phone for tracking. It's better quality. It actually is better at tracking you, so I can walk away and it still kind of figures out where you are, even though I'm not totally facing the camera. And the good thing is that it's not just left and right, but also up and down. So you can go down and up, which is really cool. And the thing I hate about this thing is it uses a cell phone. I just spent the last half hour trying to get the app to connect with the gimbal, to try to get it to tell it to active track. It was just so frustrating to figure out. I hate anything that uses a cell phone app. But on the good side, this thing is cheap. It used to be 450 bucks. It's now only $279 at Best Buy, which even if you're not using the tracking, that's an amazing price for a gimbal, 3-axis gimbal. So I'm going to try to lose it. Yeah. So it is possible to lose this thing, but it's a lot smarter than the last one. See, it needs a face. Once it has your face, then it can, it's the only thing is if you don't look at it for too long. Ooh, still got it. It's pretty good. So this is the DJI Ronin SC, $279 at Best Buy. Even if you don't track, it's a good price for a gimbal. Just, I hate the cell phone thing. So let's move on to the next tracker. Okay, this is the Soloshot 65. It looks cool, but it's the most expensive, most frustrating tracking device ever made. I hate it. It has to go through a calibration process where it calibrates itself with GPS satellites. It's a frustrating thing to set up just to get it to start working. It takes a while. It's not the easiest thing to to get going. You have to use this thing out in the wide open space with open sky, no telephone lines, no walls, no trees. This is just an outdoor device for open fields, which really limits the use of this thing. It's just frustrating. You can't use this thing indoors or near a house or near objects, near a wall or a tree or anything. And look at this, it's still calibrating. This thing takes like 5 minutes to just calibrate, to set itself up. I just wasted the last 45 minutes trying to get this thing to calibrate. What it does is it follows this. This is a sending unit that it follows. If I walk around, it'll follow it. And so you're supposed to have it on a wristband or something. This thing costs $1,100. And it's so, oh, the frustration of trying to use this thing, it's ridiculous. Don't get this one. I hate it. I don't know how to it's just the worst. But the cool thing is I can be behind a bush and it'll follow me because it has this sending unit here. And I can be like wherever I want. So it has the benefit of having a device to follow, and it doesn't track your face, which is good. We're trying to work this thing. Oh, anyway, so I'm filming this with the camera that comes with it. It has two versions, the more expensive one, which can zoom, and the cheaper camera. This is the more expensive one. It's the Optic 65 camera. This thing can shoot 4K, 30 frames per second, or 1080 at 30 or 60 or 120 frames per second. But the quality of the video is not that great. It's all right, but so what you can do is it has a hot shoe on top. So I'm going to try to attach another camera on top of this camera, see if it can hold that. But this thing is, oh, I hate it. It's just, and the screen on the back where you try to swipe it and work it, if the sun's hitting the screen, it doesn't do anything. It's just, I could go on and on why I don't like this thing, but it looks really cool. The quality of the construction is really good. It's really well made. I just wish it would work better. Frustrating thing. Yep. And I think it can, does it go up and down? Is it going down? So it does go up and down and left and right. Yeah. It can't hold any weight more than a cell phone on top. So, I mean, it's kind of silly. I spent all this extra money to get this fancy camera that's on this thing, and then I end up using a cell phone instead. It's stupid. It can't hold even a little lightweight compact pocket camera. It's too much weight to put on top of this thing. But, so here I am filming with a cell phone, which is, why $1,100 for something that works a cell phone? That's ridiculous. Might as well use one of the other ones I just showed you. But anyway, so here you go, the Soloshot 3, $1,100. I'm definitely giving this one away. Okay, this is the one I like. This is my most favorite one for outdoors. It's called a Pixio. Even the name is cute. I liked it right away because I like the name. It's cute. It's not the cheapest one. It's $835. But what it does is it follows this device. So wherever you have this device, you need to put it on yourself somehow. It'll follow it. But this thing is the best. It's so easy to set up. The way it works is you have three sending, it triangulates. It doesn't use GPS and it doesn't do face tracking. You have these three devices that you hide, and it just triangulates the position of this thing within that triangle. So here's one device. I hid it in the tree here, and I hid another one back here. This is the other one I hid in the bush, and then I have another one over here in this bush. So this device is triangulated within those three things, and it's so easy. You just put them in place, you turn them on, you turn this on, you turn that on, and it works. There's nothing to do. There's no app, there's no nothing. You just turn it on and it works. I love this thing. And it sounds cute, Pixio. So it doesn't have, it only goes left and right. It doesn't go up and down. So, but usually when you walk back and forth, you don't go up or down anyway. So, works pretty good. I guess I should have this thing clamped to my shirt, because if I go like this, it'll do that. But you get the idea. This thing works indoors and outdoors. I'm going to show you indoors in a minute. And there's one more tracker, and it works only indoors, so I'll take you there in a second for that. So this is the Pixio, $835. It's not the cheapest one, but it's the easiest to use, and I love it the most. All right, so now I got the Pixio hooked up indoors. I guess I could put it in my pocket, see what happens. It work? Yep, it works if you put it. It works just as good if you put it in your pocket. That's pretty good. I like that. Okay, I put a 75 millimeter on here, and that's the cool thing about this, is you can change the lens and get a nice close-up, and you can walk and talk, and it'll follow you. Now, you gotta move slower when you have a telephoto, because otherwise you'll get out of the shot too quick. But if you walk nice and slow, you can get an interesting effect going here. You gotta get kind of used to how fast you move or how slow you move when you are in telephoto mode like this. But it's a lot more interesting when you're walking and talking and the camera is following you. And I think you can adjust the sensitivity of how slow or quick it does its adjusting. And the other cool thing about these, both the Pixio and the Gigabot, is you can have multiple units following you. You can have one with a wide angle, one with a telephoto, and you can get all kinds of different cuts that you can cut back and forth to. So that's kind of cool. So here I am walking, and it's, hello, the dramatic close-up. So here I am having a dramatic close-up shot with the Pixio. Wide shots can be funny, but telephotos need to be serious. You can even use a light stand to hold these things up. It has a 1/4-20 thread underneath, so you don't even need a tripod. Use a light stand. These things are great. Great to have when you're alone and you have nobody to film you. Okay, and finally we have the most accurate one. This is the Gigabot EX. It's $995, which is basically $1,000. And it does not use GPS. It does not use face recognition. It does not use triangulation. It uses these things called dots. They're little infrared dots. You have two in the front here, and it follows the dots. And you can have two in the back if you want to have it like where you're going to be turning your back a lot. You have 2 dots in the back and 2 dots in the front, and it'll follow you no matter what you do, which works really, really well. You cannot use this outside because sunlight apparently screws up the infrared signal, and it has to have home power, 110 volts. So it has to plug into a wall. But it works really well. It can carry heavy loads like, I think like 4 or 5 pounds, like a A7 III with a big lens on it, so it can handle that pretty good. This was created by a guy who created this in his garage just a little while ago, earlier this year. Tinkered with it, created this thing, and now they're mass producing it. It just came out. I'm sure the more they make it, maybe the more affordable it'll get, but it's really well made, and it can hold up to like 4 to 5 pounds. You can put an A7 III with a big lens on the front. It doesn't go up and down, it only goes left and right, but then again, when you're walking back and forth, you don't have to go up or down very much. What do you think? This is the Gigabot EX, it's about $1,000. I'll put the links down to everything below. I just got these things, so this is just my first impression of it. And this one, the only thing that maybe takes a little longer is you have to put these dots, you have to hide them on your clothes somehow. Run the wire down your back and put this thing in your pocket. So that's the only thing about this one, but it's pretty dependable. Something to keep in mind is the Pixio is not made for heavy cameras. If you have an A7 III with a big lens or something, it's not made for that. It's made for smaller cameras like the G100 or maybe an M50 or a compact camera, pocket camera, something like that. If you have a heavier camera, then I suggest you get the Gigabot because that's made for heavier cameras. All right, so I'm going to give away the Capsule 360 and the Soloshot 3. Before you start emailing me, read the instructions at marcuspixfreebies.com. There was a number of people in the last contest that did not get to enter because they did not read the instructions. So go to marcuspixfreebies.com, read the instructions, then enter. Tell me which one you want. I'm going to pick the 10th person and I'll list the winners down below. It'll probably be within the first 2 hours of this video coming out. If the video's already been out for a day, then don't bother entering because somebody's already got it. So yeah, I'm gonna share the joy. So there's something else for you, a way for a camera to follow you around when you're alone, which a lot of photographers are in that situation a lot of times. That's what my channel's about, giving you alternative, interesting, creative ways of solving problems. Stay tuned to the next video. Who knows what I'll have then.